So what's going on, Raider Nation? And welcome back to another episode of the Raider Critique. This is your pre-game review for Week 12 against the Seattle Sea Chickens in Seattle, where it's going to be raining pretty much all game long. And, well, I mean, let's hop on over, man. I want to jump and look at ESPN to go look at the game projections. First, I want to make sure that that's exactly what I'm on here, and I'm not going to give you all the YouTube studio. You know what I mean? So let me move this out of the way here. I appreciate everybody for stopping in, man, and if it's your first time here, please don't let it be your last. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that thumbs up. It helps the algorithms and for more people like you to get more content like this. So I would like to hop on over. See, we're going to minimize that and shift over like that. Are we there? Are we there? No, we're not there. Oh, I guess we were there, but OBS wasn't showing me. So yesterday when I looked on the matchup predictor over here, we were actually at a 49-7, and they were at a 49-3. Well, as you can see, that is done changed, and that's because of a few of the things that we're going to talk about. It's changed in one day. They are now a 50.1% favorite. All right. The spread is 4 points. All right. And the money line is 205, whatever the hell that means. I don't know. I don't really bet on football, and I definitely don't bet on these Raiders because they let us down so often. I will not bet on them. Now, injury report. It's not the full injury report, but Luke Masterson is questionable. Kendall Vickers is questionable. Colton Miller is actually limited, but he's questionable. And then, of course, the new addition, which is Josh Jacobs with a calf injury. He is also questionable for this game. Now, I want to hop over and let y'all look at this here. When it comes to the stats, we're going over to Pro Football Reference. Okay. Derek Carr's got 2,435 yards passing and 15 touchdowns on the season. Geno Smith has 2,474 yards and 17 touchdowns on the season. Now, this is going to be a rough game, Raider Nation, for the simple fact that Seattle Seahawks team is 6-4, we're 3-7, and they're actually better than what their record indicates. They've got a huge plethora of offensive weapons, including a rookie running back who has emerged as pretty much the bell cow for that Seattle team, and he's got over 500 yards rushing. If I remember right, yeah, Kenneth Walker III. 587 yards and 7 touchdowns on 121 rushes. Now let's hop back over to this here and talk about something that, you know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Raider Nation, but there's one thing that we are leading the league in, and it's not what you would expect. Well, actually, no, if you've been around here for a while, then you would expect it. We are leading the league in penalties on first down. We have 24 penalties on first down for 194 yards. And I do believe that this is probably on a combination in between offense and defense. And I pulled this off of the Silver and Black show. But the Raiders are first in penalties on first down. This is something that we've got to clean up, especially going up against a team like the Seattle Seahawks, who literally has been flying under the radar all year, but have a shit ton and a plethora of offensive weapons. And Geno Smith has been playing lights out this season. Now, the one thing that we do have going for us, that even though they do have such a high-powered offense, is that Max Crosby has definitely come into his own. He has 63 tackles. That puts him in first place. He has 16 tackles, which also puts him in first place. He has 9 sacks. That means he's tied for 8th. And he has 16 quarterback hits, which ties him for 10th. Now, if Max Crosby can get in here and ruffle the feathers of Geno Smith, maybe he might be able to cause a few turnovers. He did come in and block a field goal last week. And he also, he caused a fumble. He blocked a field goal. He sacked the quarterback twice. I mean, he was pretty much our main star of the game on defense, which he pretty much is every week. So we're going to definitely need that out of him again. And then we got Josh Jacobs, who has, in 10 weeks, has 183 attempts for 930 yards. His yard per attempt is 5.1, and he's also got 7 touchdowns. Now, without this guy in the game, it's going to make us one-dimensional. We do have Zamir White. We've got Britton Brown, Amir Abdullah, and Brandon Bolden. But, I mean, really, they haven't gotten the ball that much this season to really matter in the run game at all, because Josh Jacobs has pretty much just been doing it all for us. Every time he touches the ball, he goes. The only thing I can hope is that our silver bullet, Josh Jacobs, is going to be able to play on that calf. Maybe he gets limited snaps, but, if it's going to be too much on him to where it keeps him injured throughout the rest of the year, then hey, why don't we go ahead and give Zamir White and Britton Brown a shot, an actual legitimate shot at running the ball? But that really is going to put a lot of strain on Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. It's just sad to even see that he's on the injury report. Now check it out, Raider Nation. The beast passing attacks by both teams. All right, we are ranked 9th in passing offense, and that's just with Devontae Adams and Mac Hollins and Foster Moreau, along with Josh Jacobs and all the other supporting casts like Keelan Cole and that other cat we've been throwing the ball to. I can't remember who the hell it is. It slips my mind. I'm pretty sure y'all in the chat are probably telling me, but I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm looking at the stats. So the Raiders have played 10 games, 362 attempts, 226 completions at a 62.4 completion percentage for 2,355 yards. That's an average of 6.9 yards per pass, and the average per game is 235.5. Seattle looks pretty much perpendicular. All right, they have 230 completions out of 317 attempts, but they are completing 72.6% of their passes for 2,278 yards at a 7.8 yard average, averaging 227.8 per game. Now, their longest pass is 54 yards. They have 17 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, along with suffering 24 sacks for, a rating of 106.4. Now, the Raiders look a little lower. We have the longest pass of 60 yards. We have 15 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Derek Carr's been sacked 22 times with a 91.1 rating. So, I mean, really, you look at it, it's kind of perpendicular. But we're basically doing it with one badass wide receiver And they've got a really massive, good secondary for a couple young guys, man. You got Tyreek Woolen, who's already leading the team with 5 interceptions. He's had 5 turnovers. And then Kobe Bryant, the dude who shares the name for like one of the greatest basketball players ever to play the game, has already caused 4 fumbles. This defense, their secondary in particular, creates turnovers. They have a huge turnover differential margin when it comes, I think it's like -4. So, I mean, these guys definitely go for the ball. We're going to need more of our wide receivers to step up and play lights out, because Davante Adams is not going to be able to do it all by himself. And the greatest thing about this is that Davante Adams is by far, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in the game. And it's going to give these young rookies here, you know, a good taste of what an actual good wide receiver, a great wide receiver, really is. And we all saw what Davante Adams did to Patrick Surtain last week. Hopefully, Davante Adams can do a lot of the same, teaching these young bucks that even though they might be pretty good and they're young and they're stout, they're still not on the same level as Davante. Now, I noticed yesterday there was an article that came out that Nate Hobbs has returned to practice, but when you look on the injury report, he is still on injured reserve. Are we actually going to get this guy back? Because I can tell you what, with the DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett combination over there with Geno Smith, who was playing lights out since the beginning of his career. I don't think he's ever played this good. With our secondary the way it is, Trayvon Moehrig pretty much taking a step back. We've got Deron Harmon, who really is stepping up, and Rock Yassin, who is stepping up, but Anthony Averett does not look like a starting caliber corner. Will Nate Hobbs come back? And if he doesn't come back, how many yards are we going to get burned through the air because our secondary is lackluster? Man, we really need Nate Hobbs back. He is our best corner on this team, if not our best secondary player. And I'm hoping he gets back soon. He's eligible to come back this week. But from the look of it, Raider Nation, it doesn't look like he's coming back this week. Which means we're going to be running out there with Sam Webb, Rock Yassin, Anthony Averett, Deron Harmon, and Trayvon Moehrig. All right, and probably Roderick Teamer. I mean, that's our secondary right there. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. And then they've got that tight end. I can't remember what his name is, but he can catch. You know, and then they've got that beast of a running back in that rookie, Walker. So, I mean, yeah, our defense has definitely got their work cut out for them today. And without Josh Jacobs, our offense has got their work cut out for them today. I would say they do. I really don't know how this game is going to end up. That's why I didn't do a prediction. Didn't do a prediction at all. But I can tell you, man, it's going to be an uphill battle. I wouldn't be surprised with it raining and with the weather being crappy out there. This could be an extremely terrible game to watch on both sides because the ball's going to be wet. I mean, it's going to be entertaining for us, but we're going to probably see a lot of drop passes, a lot of fumbles, you know, people slipping and falling, you know, just the way wet football is played is probably what we're going to see because it's basically just pouring its ass off up there, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So, and we all know how our team performs in wet weather. At least we know how they performed in years past, and it hasn't been very good. You know, it hasn't been very good. But hey, check it out, man. I got a new live coming up today. Told y'all that I was going to be out here doing a bunch of podcasts this week. I was on Raider Ben Channel last night. I'm doing my pregame right now. And then at 3 p.m. Pacific, we're going live with the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast with Watts Raider, Grimy Raider Dave, Hardcore Raider myself, and special guest from Locked On Raiders and Raider Nation 920 AM, Keon Myers, man, your boy Q on Twitter. He's coming on the show to grace us with his presence and his knowledge of what he feels about this football team at this point in the season. It's going to be nice to go ahead and pick his brain. This is actually one of my most favorite things about being able to do a show like this, is getting to meet guys like this who I've been listening to since he was in Fresno and I was in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I've been listening to Q since like really before I can even remember, because Q has been out there, man, and he wound up moving to Waco when I was here, you know, in Killeen, and I've been listening to him about Baylor and the Raiders shit for at least 5 or 6 straight years. You know what I'm saying? And now I finally get to sit down and talk with this guy with all of my brothers on the panel for the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast. Definitely tune into that. It's going to be mirrored here right on the Raider Critique, and also on the Hardcore channel on YouTube as well. So don't forget to stop on by and check that out. And, you know, we're going to be on for about roughly an hour today, starting at 3 p.m. Pacific. So I want to hop on over here to the Shield, man. I want to salute everybody into the chat. I have not even looked to see if everybody who is all here. Dirty 30, Raider Ray, man. Domenis, Dell Jr., Raiderette for life. Salute all of you. Hey, man, hey, get that porn bot out of here, Pena. Mr. Took Your Soul, Coach Dante. Raider Pena. All right, my mods here. Nutty Raider Nate, man, it's good to see all of y'all here, man. Thank you guys for stopping in for the pregame review right here on the Raider Critique for Week 12 against the Seattle Sea Chickens. Yep, the prawn bots. The good old prawn bots. But yeah, man. So we're supposed to see some sun breaks tomorrow as well in Seattle, and hopefully it's not as bad as we think. Because as entertaining as it might be seeing these players slip all over the field, it really does make for some messy football. And it makes for some really low scoring games. You know, and I'm sorry, I mean, I love defensive battles just like anybody else, but I would really like to see us be able to put up some points. I really don't want to see this game close. You know what I mean? But it's more than likely going to be close. What do you guys feel about the secondary? Do you think we have the secondary to deal with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf with the way Geno Smith has been playing lights out this season? I mean, that's really going to be the question. That's the key matchup that I'm looking at, and also Max Crosby in this offensive line. Now, we have to win this game. Seattle doesn't. I got us winning behind JJ and Mad Max 24-20. That's if JJ decides to play. And I'm hoping that even with that calf injury, that it's not too bad. More like, hopefully, maybe it's just a tweak. But in all actuality, man, if it's anything worse than a tweak, he needs to sit. Because we really don't want him to go down. He seems to go down this time every year. And he works himself so damn hard that, you know, he winds up being gone 3 or 4 weeks. And honestly, I don't think with the way this team is producing, how we only have Devontae Adams, we can't afford for him to be gone 3 or 4 weeks. Now, if we got a good pass rush, we're good. Yeah, I can see that. We got to definitely have a good pass rush. We got to have more from just Max Crosby. You know, I think we need, we need to send some secondary blitzes too. You know, send a safety or two. The problem is, I don't think Morig is really coming, you know, I don't think he's really healed all the way from that hip injury. He doesn't want to put himself in harm's way. He seems like that he's favoring his body some. You know, he's always trying to do feet tackles. He's not really trying to light anybody up. So that tells me, you know, that he's having issues with that hip still. You know, I mean, shit. Unless we send Teamer in on blitzes, you know, or we send, you know, some corners in there running nickel packages, sending some corner blitzes. Maybe Denzel Perryman gets a rush or two, but we're going to need Chandler Jones to show up, man. This is what we paid him for, is to show up in games like this. And he has always had really good games against the Seattle Seahawks, even when he was a Cardinal. But I think Father Time has really caught up to him. See, and and that's what, dude, I didn't hear about it until last night on Ben's Live. Like, literally right before we went live, injury report hits, my phone hits the notification, hits everybody on the panel as well. JJ down with a calf injury. He's questionable for the game. That's all we know. Hopefully Q might be able to give us a little bit more insight on that injury when we have him on the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast today. And that's exactly right. We got to get in there on Gino, and we got to get in there on him early. We got to hit him hard, and he's got to go down hard, man, to where he thinks twice about dropping back to pass anymore. Now, if we can stop this rookie running back and force them to pass, that's all good. But if we can't get any penetration through their line, expect this to be a long game with Geno Smith throwing all over this team all game long. Because they're used to playing in the rain, man. We are not. You know what I mean? Only a few of these players really play in wet weather. And with us playing in a dome now, we don't really play in that kind of weather anymore. So, some of our veterans are going to remember how to play in the shit. But, really it's just going to be what we see from this team. And are they going to come out with the fire in the heart that they came out with last week? Or are we going to see the team who came out with no motivation like we did against the Saints? So anyway, that's all I've got right here for your pregame episode. And like I said, yeah, the secondary makes me nervous as well. The secondary makes me nervous, and their passing game and their offense literally makes me nervous. Really. Now, what's more important to me, going to the postseason and making it out of the first round of the playoffs, or getting a high draft pick? Honestly, to me, I want to win. I don't care about the draft. I don't care about what draft pick we get. I've seen so many players come in the later rounds. Hall of Fame players come in the later rounds. And then being a Raider fan for as long as I've been, I've seen a lot of first-round busts that we picked up. Eddie Vanderdoes. Jamarcus Russell. Number 1 overall pick. I actually witnessed that, in real life. And that was absolutely terrible. Darren McFadden. I got his jersey on the wall, but and he played well for us, but he was not worth the number 1 overall pick. And then hell, let's go to recent. Alex Leatherwood, Cleveland Farrell. Number 1 draft pick and high draft picks in the first round really doesn't excite me too much because we miss all the damn time. You know what I mean? And there's teams out there that they sometimes they hit and sometimes they miss. The one thing that I can tell you is that when it comes to college ball, only 6% of college players, out of all those schools and out of all that talent, only 6% get drafted into the NFL. Your top 6%, your all-stars of the all-stars in college football are the only ones that get drafted, and then some slip through the cracks, come in undrafted, ball out. You know what I'm saying? There are diamonds in the rough in the later rounds, and it's been proven by picking up dudes like Hunter Renfrow, Max Crosby, Nate Hobbs. We've gotten our good ones in the first round, don't get me wrong, in the second round, but we've also hit a lot better in the later rounds. There is talent out there. So to answer your question, Raiders 7528. Fuck a draft pick, bro. Fuck a draft pick. It's all about win now. And it's just like I said on Raider Ben's channel last night. I was asked kind of the same question. What were my expectations for this team? And do they differ from back during off season to now? And no, they don't. We've suffered a lot more losses, and a lot more losses than I expected for us to take. But I can tell you this now, we need to win out. The only way that this season is a success with all the money that was dropped into the offense and all the players that were acquired through free agency, drafting, trades, is playoffs and a first round playoff win. That's the only way that this season becomes salvageable, and anything less than that is unacceptable. Fuck a high draft pick. You know what I mean? And that's nothing directed at you. It's just, man, and yeah, the bust were due to those regimes. Yeah, they sure were. But here's another thing too, man, is that these players coming out of college, these guys are beasts, dude. They build them so much differently now than they did back in the day because these dudes are total athletes. I'm telling you, there is such a plethora of athletic football players coming out of these drafts every single solitary year. You can't miss on them all. You really can't. You can't miss on them all. And I've got a good feeling that I think we've got a better slew of dudes to pick from who are literally, NFL ready. I mean, you look at the quarterback class coming up this year. A lot of people say there are a lot of short guys, but you know what? Like 10 of those quarterbacks are already NFL ready. And it's because they just design them differently now. They really do. And these kids work really hard and studying film. They're in the playbook. You know what I mean? They put in a lot more effort to be able to play in the NFL from what it's become, because the NFL is literally, this is your cream of the crop. You got to be good up here, because if not, you're going to get swallowed whole. So I mean, I think we can get better picks. We can get just as good of picks in the later rounds, even if we're picking like, say, 25th. You know what I'm saying? So, I hope I was able to answer your question. Now, we should draft 2 defensive tackles, a defensive end, linebacker, cornerback, safety, right tackle, and a mid-round quarterback to develop either to challenge DC and maybe be the backup or trade for more draft picks. Well, look, first off, we need to figure out how we're going to get that money down. Because I can tell you what, man, dudes like Darren Waller, who haven't seen the field, who are making 3 years for $51 million, need to restructure. All right? Dudes like Chandler Jones, how he's making the money that he's making and not showing up on the field, even though he's been on the field damn near every play, he's not showing up. He's good at stopping the run, but that's not why we brought him here. I don't want to hear that bullshit about, he stopped the run real well. I don't care if he stops the run real well. We had Cleve Farrell to stop the run. We brought a dude to get in here to help Max Crosby get after the quarterback. Still, I have no understanding why we got rid of Yannick Ngakoue. Maybe that was the only thing that we could do to get Rock Yassin, but damn, I think I would have tried to pull somebody different to get Rock Yassin instead of getting rid of Ngakoue and bringing Chandler Jones over here. I do think the defense would be better with Ngakoue. And yeah, CJ needs to fucking restructure as well. You're damn right he does. He either needs to restructure or get the fuck off this team. Because I can tell you what, I didn't think that bringing him in here, we were only going to get a half a sack out of him and he was going to be Mr. Run Stopper. Now, Waller might get traded. They were really looking to move him at the deadline, I guess. And a guy was heard last week and said that Waller will 100% not be a Raider next year. Well, we'll see about that, man. I don't really deal with rumors, but once that starts coming up and once that starts reaping its ugly face on more of truth, I'll talk about that, man. And Jones has been a bust free agent. Yeah, absolutely. He's been absolute garbage. Yo, what's good, my brother Critique? I am leaving in an hour to head to Seattle, my first ever NFL Raider game of all time. Be safe down there, man. You're going to get wet, but enjoy yourself, dude. Hey, hang out at the tailgate. Make sure you don't miss out on the tailgate and then go into the game. The tailgate is the massive experience, bro. Don't forget to go to the tailgate. For real, get out there with all of our brothers and sisters. We black out no matter where we go. We black out the parking lot, bro. So make sure you make it out to the parking lot for real. It was on the Colin Cowherd show. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, man. I got a lot to get done today. And I hope to God that every single one of you stay safe. I hope y'all had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Hey, I ate well. I hope all of y'all ate well. Have a blessed holiday season, man. Definitely take this time to be with your families because you never know what the future may hold, man. And just keep your family close. Keep your Raider Nation family even closer. And remember, baby, it's what we always say here. And I do appreciate every single one of y'all for showing up, man. You guys show out every live, dude, and it is so appreciated. I'm now at 457 subs, and I would love to get that to 500. Last live I did, I was over here, talking about all y'all in the chat, and I wanted to send y'all patches, and I told y'all to hit me up on Instagram. Well, on Instagram, you can find me at The Raider Critique, all in lowercase letters. All right, and the picture right there, the logo will pop up. You know what I mean? I want y'all in the chat, man, to hit me up. And I see how many of y'all are in here. I see which ones y'all are. If you do have a way, like a P.O. box, or, you have an address that you would like for me to send these Raider Critique patches to, which I'll show them to you again, then please hit me up on Instagram at The Raider Critique and drop your information to where I can send one of these to you, because I would love for every single one of you guys to get one of my patches. And I'm not going to sell them, man. I'm just going to give them away. And since you guys come in and you participate in the live chat, I feel like you guys deserve something, man. So please hit me up on Instagram at The Raider Critique to get your patch. And I know which one of y'all are all in here, man. And hell, even if you weren't in there, just hit me up, man. We'll see what's going on. Coach Dante, Mr. Took Your Soul, Dell Jr. You know what I'm saying? You guys need to go up in here, man, and hit me up on Instagram, dude. And if you can't access me through Instagram, you see it right down here, bro. You can hit me up on Twitter as well. So anyway, like I have always said, and how we always end these lives, man, the Raiders might lose, and I hope to God we don't lose this week, but we never lose. You know what I'm saying? Raider Nation is always victorious. That's no joke there, and we always win, baby, and it's Raider Nation for life. I hope you guys enjoy your holiday season, and I will see you guys at 3 p.m. Pacific for the Hardcore Raider Nation podcast.